Alright, some people wanted to take a look at my Destiny board, so here you go. First, I'm going to go over the gathering levels that I currently have. Nobody cares about tier 4 because tier 4 resources don't give any money whatsoever. So tier 5 resources on the other hand are already a little bit interesting, at least for hide. All the other resources don't really give enough money, but hide is pretty good. So tier 5 stone gathering level 34, lumberjack 38, animal skinner 87, or 47, fiber 42. So everything is pretty low except my skinning, because I in the past started with skinning when I started gathering in general. So let's look at tier 6, which is already interesting because tier 6 resources actually give decent money. You can easily reach 2 million per hour by finding enough tier 6 resources and just gathering them with gathering gear. I got stone on 62, lumberjack 65, skinner 83, ore 86, my highest, fiber harvester 67. So everything is pretty high already, while ore and hide are really high, getting close to 100 soon. So tier 7, all the tier 7 resources are basically worth gathering unless you're not using a mount that can carry much. So Quarrier 43, lumberjack 29, skinner 33, ore 41, fiber 28. Tier 8 resources, they are always worth it, even when you don't have any carry weight. They are always pretty good profit. Quarrier level 19, lumberjack 26, skinner 14, miner 13, and fiber 23. They are all pretty low because it's rather hard to find tier 8 resources. Just the same with tier 7. All these gathering levels on the higher tier stuff are just rather low because it's so hard to find the stuff. So I'll give you a quick look at my crafting skills, where I actually only have stuff at leather shoes. Everything is on 0 or almost the 0. Here I have everything on 100 except Hellion shoes at 89, Spectre shoes at 67, and Shoes of Tenacity at 2. So pretty decent levels, and it's kinda profitable to craft with focus, but it's not that much money, and it takes forever for these items to sell unless I would want to transport, and I do not want to transport. So I'll now come to weapons and armory. The offense here from the Tome Fighter, all pretty high because they level up really quickly. Cursed staffs, one of my favorite weapons, or one of my favorite weapon lines. Already have level 110 in demonic staff, everything else not that high. Even though Shadow Caller, because I've been using it in the roads, the Curse Skull, roads and Hellgates. Great curse stuff, Hellgates. So that's my levels at curse staffs. One of my higher weapon lines in terms of levels. So frost staffs, I basically only have levels on the normal frost staff because I have been using it in 2v2 Hellgates and the Roads of Avalon for a while, not so much anymore. And I don't really plan on using it too much in the future right now. Arcane staffs, I have no levels. Great Holy Staff, no levels. Okay, but fire staffs. I got the Blazing Staff on level 100 because I've been using it in the roads. I have used it in Hellgates and this for a very long time. Likewise, I have pretty good levels on that. Otherwise, Great Fire Staff. I used it a little bit in Hellgates and a little bit in 5v5 Hellgates as well. And a little tiny bit in Crystal Arena. I've been using Wildfire stuff a little bit in the Crystal Arena. Crystal League is what I wanted to say. Crystal League. The Wildfire stuff I have been using a little bit in the Crystal Arena because it's simply really good when you're playing solo. The heads, nothing really interesting. All these things simply go on a very high level very quickly. Basically only the levels on weapons are kind of interesting. The thing about armory is though that I have the highest level in cloth because I just prefer playing cloth armor. I prefer to play damage dealers, so that's why I got the highest levels there, but I have pretty decent levels on leather as well because of some bruiser builds, like with the blood leather, with the spear and stuff like that. So my levels there are decent, but in cloth they are the highest because I simply prefer playing damage dealers. That's it for the armory. About clothing, another second-hand tree. Here, torch fighter, have been using the torch forever, so it's pretty high, obviously. Quarterstaffs, haven't been using them and will not be using them. Daggers, I have been using the blood leather for a while, and I will probably do so in the future again. I have somewhat normal level on the one-handed dagger because I have been using it in the 2v2 Hellgates, but otherwise I don't like this weapon at all. Death Givers were pretty fun. I have been using them in the corrupted dungeons, but not with this boring I click my Q, get stacks and then E build, but with the bruiser build. So I have pretty decent levels on daggers and mainly on my blood leather. On nature staffs, don't really have any levels. I have I have 50 levels on my druidic staff because of the gathering, but it's really not that much. So spears, I do have 100 on the Heron spear and almost 100 on the one-handed spear. The Heron spear because I have been using it a lot in the Roads of Avalon in the past. Haven't been using it much in the last months. But the one-handed spear and the Daybreaker are kinda nice for some solo play because you got the mobility on them. Which is why I will probably get some more levels automatically with those in the future. Bows. I have been playing quite a bit of bow, especially the Whispering Bow and the normal bow. Those are simply really good for solo play, for corrupted dungeons, for PvE, in small groups or solo. That's why I have been playing those and have pretty decent levels on those. Here the leather stuff, like pretty decent, pretty solid levels, some on 100, some not. But yeah, I have been using some of those in solo play or duo, trio play. That's why I got some solid levels on those as well. Shields, I haven't been using too much shields, but as all the other offhand, they level up really quickly. That's why it looks like I have solid levels on those as well. Crossbows, I don't like crossbows. They are not very fun to play, so I don't have any levels on them. What are they called? War gloves. Not my type of weapon. I prefer playing ranged damage dealers. Same goes for hammers. not my type of weapon. Maces, not my type of weapon. Axes, spear paws are really nice for ganking. That's why I got some decent levels there. But otherwise, the battle axe is really good for some solo PvE and stuff. And also pretty good for PvP solo. So I got some decent levels on that and on the beard paws. Otherwise, no levels at all on axes. Swords, the carving sword for gathering. Otherwise, I don't use swords because I don't like their Qs. I simply don't like their Q spells. But the carving sword is, in my opinion, the best sword for a gatherer. So I'm using that, and having some decent levels on that makes me tankier. Likewise, I use some fame books from time to time to level it up a little bit more. Plate armor. Like on the armor, I don't have any levels, but the helmets are partially useful for me. And same goes for the boots, like soldier boots are pretty good for solo play, guardian boots are pretty good for solo PvE. Royal boots were once good in corrupted dungeons, and I've played a little bit there with those. That's why I have some decent levels on those as well. And that's basically it. I don't have any levels in cooking. I have a little bit of levels in harvesting here, crop farmer and stuff like that. But it's just boring, and that's why I don't do any stuff in that.